Arsenal unlucky away at Benfica. A disappointing penalty to give away, but the response absolutely razor sharp from one of the best young talents in the world in Saka. 1-1 on the night, advantage to Arsenal. Probably a night to forget for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. We're here to take your calls, to take your opinions. Smash that like button right now, people. Let's do this. Welcome back to The Terrace. We're live. We're here to take your calls. We're going to share the link on the Discord server very, very soon. Man like Kesh, man like Igao are sitting backstage. Another very good game of football, I felt. Watching as, of course, Man United smashed it tonight 4-0. Hallelujah. But tonight was good. Tonight was very, very good. And Arsenal were unlucky. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with a night to forget. Gilt-edged, golden opportunities to win the game for Arsenal. Couldn't finish his dinner. But overall, a solid performance I felt from Arsenal. Xhaka played well. Odegaard's looking good. Odegaard, I think it's pronounced Odegaard, looking very, very good. Saka, excellent again in an Arsenal shirt, adding another goal to his name. The response after going a goal down, by the way, I do think it was a cast iron penalty. Silly from Smith Rowe to have his arm up the way that he did, should have been given, but the response was brilliant. And the strength in this Arsenal team now that's developing, they're not there, they're not, back to their peak best or anything like that, but you're seeing a lot more strength in this team. They're able to they're almost able to look adversity in the face and bounce back from it with greater ease than we saw earlier on in the season. We have a super chat here from Costa, says, "Hi Terry, can't wait to come on from that game because Arsenal were poor and the only bright spark was Saka." I just disagree. I thought Arsenal played well tonight. Maybe we're going to have some interesting calls from you all. I thought Arsenal played well. I thought they were unlucky. I thought they outplayed Benfica away from home in Europe. That's not an easy thing to do. Benfica, they've got a lot of experience in Europe. They're European royalty. And I thought they did very, very well indeed. They should call Europa League the jungle. I don't get why, Badge. You're going to have to give me some context to that, bro. It doesn't make sense to me. Aubameyang was horrible. You're right, Ash. Tonight, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was woeful. He legitimately was woeful. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. 110%, he was poor. Sorry for the camera quality on the last stream, by the way. I changed the setting on the camera, didn't put it back. It looked like I'd been tangoed. That looks like it's all sorted out now. But get your super chats in right now to us. We're going to have the panel on soon. We're going to let the panel take your calls tonight as well. They'll be on very, very soon indeed. Once we go past 250 live likes. NG Music here. Oh, Saka, I didn't even click on that one. Says they weren't unlucky. Their finishing was poor. Aubameyang's finishing was poor. The team was unlucky because everybody else did their job. Arteta set up right. The play was right. The approach play, the positional attacks were right. It was just, generally speaking, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang not finishing his dinner. And with one player having an off day, I don't think it's necessarily fair to say they were bad. I thought Arsenal did well tonight. I really, really did. I thought they played well, kept their heads up. I don't know where the good performance suggestions come from. I mean, I'm looking at it objectively. For me, I thought they played well. Benfica really troubled them. I think they kept Benfica quiet. They were the better team. They should have won tonight. Team performance isn't dictated by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang not scoring his goals. The team played well. They were unlucky tonight as an overall team. Oh, the jungle because it's wild and unpredictable. Have there been that many unpredictable results tonight? I don't think so. But I hear what you're saying. Maybe it's because people don't watch European football enough. Park the bus. Arsenal were they were more attacking tonight, Arsenal, I felt as well. Everyone seemed to watch a completely different game to me, and I'm not too sure as to why. We're going to get the panel on now, though, to come and have their say. Make sure you're smashing like buttons, hitting share buttons as well. We're going to put the StreamYard link, as I speak, into the Discord server. So I'm going to get that done right about now. I didn't have Discord open, which is rare. I normally do. I'm going to put that into the Discord server now. When the Discord server loads, it's taking its time. My whole computer's taking about 6 months to load today, which is mad. I've just shared that in the general chat as well. I've just spammed it. So if you go over to Discord, you can get the link to call into the show now. We should have scored 4 goals tonight. You should have done new tide, just like Manchester United did. Let's get Igal on. Let's get Kesh on. Let's do this, people. Yes, gents. Arsenal 1, Benfica 1. Kesh, what did you make of your team performance tonight? I thought it was good. A lot of salt for that comment in the comment. People saying you were poor, you weren't too great. What's your thoughts, mate?
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. We did what any team should do, which is create chances. We just didn't manage to take them. Damian had an awful game. There was times where I felt a lot of, Ceballos particularly was taking too long on the ball. Suddenly you start to feel like he's Xavi or Iniesta. I don't know if the game on the weekend kind of gone to his head, but this is European football. You pass the ball to the man in the best position, and there was a lot of times Odegaard was in the right position in the pockets, and we just wasn't finding him.
Yeah.
I do feel Benfica didn't come to play. They came and tried to disrupt our game. Like they had 2 strikers up front, but for some reason they were all behind the ball. Then you listen. You can tell they laced the pitch. We could not move that ball at any pace at all. They laced it with water, and that just disrupted our game. Saka didn't play great, but we just did. As you said, Terry, you can't fault this on the team that we didn't win. You have to look at the individuals that got the chances and didn't take it. And Bamian, for me, just didn't play well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. Super Chat here says Aubameyang poor all season, no improvement, gets sold. I mean, he scored a hat trick a few days ago, so there's certainly been some improvement there. Do you put the do you put the lack of victory tonight, Igal, down to just Aubameyang not finishing his chances, or do you think it was a wider problem across the team tonight?
Listen, there's numerous things. One, Aubameyang does have blood on his hand for not finishing those chances. He has finished them in the past, and he's a quality player. But today, he does have blood on his hands for not making those, not finishing those chances. Hopefully, he can reimburse us with some goals in the next leg, right? And also, Arteta does have blood on his hands also for making substitutions that I did not understand. For example, I don't get why he brought off Cedric when I felt Cedric was the better of the two between Bellerin and Cedric. Bellerin to me was one of the most shocking players on the pitch. It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was either passing the ball to somebody who was in an offside position or losing the ball and was not coordinated, was not balanced, could not even hold the ball up whenever he'd receive it. So Hector Bellerin today was also at fault for a lot of mistakes. When it comes to a goal, of course, Emil Smith-Rowe made a mistake leading to a goal. He should not have his arm up there. He is at fault for that also. And I'm going to say this: I completely seen the game different from how you guys seen it. I seen it as the game was lethargic, and it reminds me of a lot of games which we've lost this season, where we were not clinical, where we had the opportunities, and we missed up our own games. We do this to ourselves. We are our own worst enemies. We are creating chances, numerous chances, and guess what? We give them a goal by giving them a penalty. This has happened way too often, and you know what? I understand why fans say this is another game of a bad season. It just reminds me of all these other bad games that we've had. It kind of reminds me of the Leeds game where it ended 0-0. It kind of reminds me of the Wolves defeat at home. Just reminds me of those kind of situations. We just had less errors that led to goals. That's the only difference.
I mean,
I disagree. You can't compare 2 to 3 months ago to this game. Like there was never a threat to us. They didn't cause a threat. The only reason we drew that game was because of our own downfall. There was never once in that moment in that game where I thought Benfica was in the ascendancy where they was going to score a goal. It was not that sort of game.
I get that. But once again, we are our own worst enemies in the sense that we were gifting them opportunities and then blocking the shots. We were putting ourselves under pressure. They weren't doing it. We're doing it to ourselves. The same thing with Burnley. So why I'm comparing it to those games is because in those games we weren't lucky enough to go back and retaliate with a goal immediately after conceding. Do you know what I mean? That's why I draw comparisons to those games in the past and today's game.
It was as deep as that. Like when I watched it, I review it. Smith Rowe, I thought overall had a poor game tonight, and this is very normal for young players. And then he gives a penalty away. Aubameyang should be finishing his dinner. I just didn't feel. I watched the game. They didn't look a threat, and this is me watching as a rival. I want to see you lose, right? I want to see it happen. But I was watching, and I couldn't see Benfica scoring, and the only way they did was through a penalty. So I think you had them exactly where you wanted them. It felt like a typical away tie in Europe where it's fairly tight, it's fairly cagey. The last 10 minutes was a prime example. No one really went for it because you didn't want to concede again. They didn't want to concede another away goal. And you had them where you wanted them. And if Aubameyang was playing well tonight, in fact, he doesn't need to be playing well. If Aubameyang was just scoring to the level that we know he's capable, and if Smith Rowe doesn't inexplicably put his arm in the air, you walk away as victors tonight, maybe by 2 or 3 goals. I think it was a good performance. What Man United did tonight away from home is a rarity in both the Europa League and in the Champions League. Teams very rarely in the first legs win big away from home. So why it was such a big result. We're going to go. Go on, mate, go on.
What threat? We were offside 7 times.
Yeah, but forget those. You're going to have offsides in the game. We're talking about the chances that were clear-cut that should have been finished. Saka even had one where he dragged it. Like, there was chances there to bury the game. Like, everyone's looking
We do that every game. We do that every game. We did that against. We did that against Man City. We did that against Liverpool. We did that against
Man City. We didn't do that against Man City because we never had no control.
Yeah, we did. We had 2 clear-cut chances against Man City to win the game.
We didn't have control over the game. We didn't have control over the game. Every team can have a chance in games, but we had total control in this game. Yes, we didn't play well, but there was never no threat to even concede.
You can't.
We're looking at it. We're not applying context. Yes, we're looking and we're saying Arsenal didn't play beautiful football and that. It's an away game in Europe. At the end of the day, they tried to disrupt our game, and they done that. But besides that, you still managed to create the chances, and you did not take them.
Gal, I love you. You know we get on. You cannot compare your performance tonight. As Kesh said, I'm plagiarizing here. Your control of the game to any of your matches in the last 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, where you played Liverpool and City. You had ample opportunities to win tonight. You controlled the game. You nullified them to a large extent. You just weren't clinical, which is why, for me as a football fan,
I'm controlling.
Yeah. So for me, okay. For me, when 1 or 2 players in your team are not clinical, it's not a bad team performance. That's 2 individuals that didn't finish their dinner because Arteta could have done nothing more to make you win tonight. The game plan, the tactics he approached was perfect. It was the execution that let people down. We have some super chats here. Then we're going to go to some of your calls. Shadman in the house says, people seem to underestimate Benfica. They are one of the favourites to win the UEFA Europa League. They are, but still poor from Arsenal. Aubameyang should have come off earlier, but at least it was somewhat salvaged by an away goal. And I hear you on that. And that's the point. Benfica are one of the favourites for this tournament. Maria Williams says Arsenal had 7 shots, 2 on target. Benfica had more. Maria, yes, statistically they did, but a lot of their shots were sort of pop shots and pea shooters. They weren't gilt edge opportunities. As an example, I watched a game recently that Man United played, and I remember someone they've had the other teams had like 8 shots. We've only had 4. I said, yes, 7 of them were like from distance that just De Gea catched easily. You wouldn't count them as chances. If you look at actual chances created in the game, Arsenal beat them. Monsieur here says 11. Well, sorry, I mean things, but 1-1. 1-1 is a good result away. Still the second leg to go. That's the big shout out point there. New Tide says again tonight, it was freestyle football for me. Oh, come on. Is that Saeed in disguise? Freestyle football. It wasn't. You can see a clear pattern there. There's no doubt about it. But Igal, I wouldn't be as disappointed. If I was you, I wouldn't be as disappointed. Into Jerome here, though, actually, his comment wasn't there for me to pull up on the screen, which is very weird from Super Chat. But it says, I agree with you, Gal. Arsenal were their own enemy tonight and gave away a penalty. But all banter aside, I think they will go through.
I think
both
we'll still go through also. I still
I
think we'll
think we'll
go
go
through
for it.
also.
Sorry, as I said,
just-
like when I say they laced the pitch, people are saying they didn't play at home. This was their own ground. This is their own leg. They obviously told the caretaker, whatever it is, listen, the pitch wasn't just wet like that for the sakes of it. They done what they had to do, and it was up to us to go and score goals. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Listen, I
Can
mean,
I-
yeah. It's not home as in home, but they get the home they get to control when the water sprinklers go. They get the home advantages in that regard. Yeah,
It's smart. It's smart, isn't it?
Can I say
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
When it comes to the actual chances that we created today, what you have to realize is the Odegaard chance was a clear-cut chance. He could have took the shot. He ended up passing the ball to Bellerin. Bellerin fluffed his lines. Aubameyang's chance. Bellerin's pass was on the point. He made the pass to Aubameyang. Aubameyang is at fault for that. Clear-cut mistake. Numerous times in this game where we messed up. In addition to the defensive end, we conceded the goal ourselves. I honestly don't care about how good we were attacking-wise. We could have left this game 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 up easily. We gave ourselves our own problem. As much as we were good on the offensive end, we also have to look at it from the other perspective. No matter what we do on one end of the pitch, we always cause ourselves our own problems, and that's why I'm hard done by today's game. I'm more disappointed in the fact that we didn't escape with at least 2-3 goals in the first half than I am walking out with a draw.
As I said, I feel that's down to how we played against Leeds. The team came out today and felt what they done against Leeds, they were just going to replicate it just like that. No, they should just come out and play their game. Like Ceballos, you're not suddenly Xavi or Iniesta.
Ceballos was good today. I don't know why you're
No,
getting on
no,
Ceballos.
there's
Ceballos
not.
was
No.
really good.
See, that's what I'm saying. You're saying you've watched the game and you've watched what people do. If you actually go back and watch it, there's many times where Ceballos has picked the ball up from deep and there's Odegaard in the pockets of space in between the lines. All you have to do is push it towards him, and he can play a first time pass to Aubameyang through. But he didn't do it. He's holding on to the ball too long.
I hear that.
We're
We're going
looking
to go to your calls now, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're all smashing that like button for us right now. So hit the like button. Yes, I'm waiting. There's like 1,500 of you watching. So hit it now or forever hold your peace. I'm waiting until I see those like numbers start going up. We ain't moving on. We're going to go to the calls. We've got Brandon backstage, Aaron, Monsur. We've got Abs. We got Muddy Hussein. There we go. Look, they're jumping up. Now they're jumping up. The link is available to call in on the Discord server. So get across to the general chat page now. We're going to go into your calls. First up on the show, we're going to get Brandon, who's an Arsenal fan, back on the football terrace. Welcome back. What did you make of tonight, mate?
It's disappointing. Such a great performance against Leeds. And then we go back to average Arsenal once again. We didn't turn up. Again, we've let a first half just pass us by, where we've done nothing. And then in the second half, we decided to up our level a little bit. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. You have to be on it from minute one. Aubameyang, poor again. One thing you can always say about Aubameyang is he's probably one of the best finishers in world football. But tonight, absolutely shocking when he got his chances. And yeah, it's disappointing. But I do feel like we will go through. But again, I kind of feel like I didn't really see everything that we could see from Benfica either. I feel like there was probably a little bit more.
Brandon. You've got a bit of a connection problem we're having from you. I'll put you backstage. Try and get that sorted out. We'll try and get you back on, mate. We're going to go to Abdul's with us now. Abdul, welcome back to the terrace, bro. What do you want to say?
Yeah, thank you for bringing me on. And is this only like an Arsenal segment, or can we just talk about any other team?
Predominantly Arsenal. What else are you here to talk about?
No, because I wasn't here for the Tottenham part because I'm a Spurs fan, and then
okay, no, we're talking Arsenal primarily, but you can try a bit of Tottenham at the end if you want. Go on, mate.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, because the reason why I'm saying it because I never seen the first half of the Arsenal game. I just seen the second half. But again, Arsenal, they were good. Like the second half that I did see, they were moving the ball really well. But I guess it's their defensive errors that kind of always shows themselves. Like again, that I don't think that was really a penalty, to be honest. I think that was kind of harsh. that penalty. But again, I don't really know like that handball rule because I feel like it's constantly switching and changing constantly. But again, if they just completed their chances, Aubameyang did have a lot of chances that 9 out of 10 times he would have converted those opportunities. But
Yeah, I hear you on that. Well, and on Tottenham, what did you make of your performance tonight?
routine, and I guess that's one of the reasons why like some Arsenal fans like Igal kind of have like a bad taste of this match because they did see their rivals like Tottenham and Manchester United kind of finish the
Kill it.
tie. Sorry.
Yeah, we killed it tonight. You killed it tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. He's seen Tottenham and Manchester United just totally finish like the tie in the first leg. So I'm guessing, he's kind of salty that now he still
Yeah.
has some stress going into the second leg because that if Benfica could somehow get like maybe like a set piece goal, it's now Arsenal has to score two to I guess take it to win the leg without having any penalty shootouts or anything like that.
No, I hear you on that. It makes it for us as neutrals. It makes it a very exciting second leg tie because it's in the balance. Listen, bro, thank you for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that. Next up, Aaron is back with us again. Aaron, welcome back to the Terrace. What you saying, young man?
Thank you very much, Terry. First of all, thanks for your praise on doing the Lower League talk show. Sorry I wasn't back in time for the Man United one, but thank you very much for that. And shout out to the panel as well, because you're all amazing. Looking at this from both halves, I think that Arsenal, it's like someone said earlier, they went 1-0 up, and it was like at times in the second half, it felt like Arsenal were just playing not to... I think they were just trying to see the game out, and they weren't... it was the defensive errors again. It was basically the defensive errors again. Smith Rowe made the mistake. He's a young kid. He's gonna make mistakes. He's still got to learn. Saka's gonna make mistakes. Smith Rowe's gonna make mistakes. Odegaard's gonna make mistakes. But I'll tell you what I did see Saka play all right today. Xhaka was good today. And one of the big criticisms with me for Arteta, why when you need to win a game, why bring on the Brazilian Bambi called Willian when you know his form has not been great this season? And that was one of the main criticisms for me. But I think from a Benfica point of view, this is all to play for in the second leg. And from an Arsenal perspective, they need to get the next couple of goals in the second leg and just try and walk away with the second leg to make up for getting the draw in the first leg. But for Benfica, like someone said earlier, set piece goal. They could do anything in the second leg, especially at the Emirates Stadium if Arsenal aren't concentrating. So it's all to play for Arsenal. But again, thank you very much, Terry. Big shout out to the panel, and we'll hopefully get the result ourselves on Saturday. Rose Tie Die. Thank you very much, Terry, and I'll keep supporting the Terrace.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for coming on, having your say. I appreciate it. We're gonna remember the link is on the Discord server. I'll also share it as well in the live comments section if you want to come on and have your say. We're going to speak to the boys. We're going to be doing a bit of the guys that know this yet, I'm going to ask them to get involved. We're doing a really big preview for the Man City game coming up this weekend, but it's not going to be a traditional style preview. So we're going to preview the actual game in a moment. Make sure you're all hitting that like and that share button right about now. As I've shared that link, we're going to get on it. We're going to get Brandon back on now. Hopefully that connection's a bit better.
Can I ask Brandon?
Is that all right now, Terry?
Seems to be. Go on, Agal. You want to ask a question?
Yeah, Brendan, let me ask you this. Kesh was saying this earlier. He felt like we had control of the game. Did you feel like this game reminds you of a lot of the games that we played earlier in the season that we lost or we draw because we were not clinical in our chances? Or do you feel like we had control of this game the whole time and you felt comfortable that we were not going to lose?
I would say that I'd lean more towards it kind of, although we had the majority of the possession, was we really that comfortable in the game? I said it earlier on. I just feel like the first half passed us by again. I'm sick of seeing Arsenal coming out and letting first halves of games just pass us by. And it takes us until the second half before we actually pick it up a couple of levels. I feel like if we had took our chances, like I said earlier, Aubameyang's one of the best finishers in the game. And when he gets in them sort of positions, you expect him to be putting it in the back of the net. It just wasn't his night tonight. And I still feel like we go through. I still feel like we can play a lot better than what we did. But I also feel like Benfica could probably play play better than what they did as well. So I don't know. It's disappointing
One
for me, but we got an away goal, so you know.
one thing I would say, I know you're saying it seems like a pass us by, and I do get that. But with the way they set up, that first goal was key to making them break that up. Because listen, I've never seen a team play with two strikers and both of them end up behind the ball. Like it was madness, especially playing three at the back. So we needed to score that goal to get them to open up, and we just didn't. The game plan just didn't go the way we wanted it to go, and that's down to our own fault. And I said this before the game, like Arsenal, we are our own incompetence. Like we let ourselves down. It's never normally because it's not always all because the team's playing well against us. It's just that we don't do the right things, like the right pass at the right time, the end product. We didn't get that right today.
No, but
Yeah,
you could see early in the game, guys, that it was quite simple. The tactics were they had the numerical advantage because they were playing three at the back, and their wing backs would come back and cover. So when we have either Ceballos in the midfield going to that left hand side or Odegaard joining into that left hand side, the wing back would fall in, and the midfielder would fall in with the left-handed or right-handed defender. So they always had the men to cover that area. The issue for me was Lacazette should have came on maybe, or a striker should have came on earlier, and you should have played him next to Aubameyang, because at that point it would change the tactics and you'd have somebody in the box. We had nobody in the box besides Aubameyang, and Aubameyang most of the time was out wide. He was never really in the middle.
I hear that. Brandon, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Thank you very, very much indeed. We're going to take a few more calls, then we're going to look ahead of a massive week. That's great. You know what I love about Europa League football? The only thing I like about Europa League football more than Champions League football is you finish, you kind of calm down, and you're like, the Premier League's back. Like there's literally one day's gap, and then all the games are here. Who are we going to go to next? We're going to go to Harry. Harry Zaguna was on the other day. Great caller the other day. What are you saying, Harry?
Oh, I'm a bit tired after watching that, to be honest, man. I found that really underwhelming after watching Spurs win comfortably, and obviously you boys, United, win pretty well. I just thought it was flat. The first half, I think Brandon's analysis is almost the opposite. I thought the first half was actually decent. I thought the second half, even though we scored, I thought the second half we were flat. I just didn't think it was inventive enough. First half, we created loads of chances, and if Aubameyang scores it, it changes the complexity of the game. I know, Kesh, you called it yesterday about Benfica changing their shape, didn't you? Which they did.
I said it.
You did.
They would have been stupid to come out and play their normal shape, which is of two backs and four on the top.
I'd probably argue that they were stupid playing that shape because we got in so many times. At times in the first half, it was almost too easy. But I just didn't see a ruthlessness. And I don't mean that by Orba's missed chance. I mean that by overplaying in certain areas. It felt like Ceballos and Odegaard were just doing one too many things. And whilst I like seeing two creative midfielders play, I feel like sometimes you probably want a bit more simplicity in your holding two and give Odegaard all of that freedom. Whereas while Ceballos was inventive, he almost got in the way sometimes and it felt a little bit messy. And then, I mean, look, I love Arteta. I love him. I love everything about him. From his hair to his smile to his management style, I love him. But I just feel like the substitutions could have been quicker because ultimately I just think we looked a bit tired in the second half, man. Bellerin for me looked tired. I know Cedric had to come off because he looked tired, but I probably think Bellerin should have come off because I felt he was a bit tired. I thought David Luiz looked a little bit slow in the second half on the ball. Xhaka, I like Xhaka, but he was some really sloppy passes in there. So I would have liked a few more substitutions, but in the same respect, Elneny coming on, Willian coming on doesn't exactly excite you too much. But I feel like once we didn't get those goals and get what we deserve from the possession, the narrative of the game changes. And whilst we can be confident for the second leg, I tell you what, I'm scared because all Benfica have got to do is the same thing: ride their luck, get their away goal, and it'll be like Olympiacos all over again. So I'm really, really worried because now psychologically, those previous wounds that will affect the players.
Well, for me, we can only hope and pray that happens. And hope and pray that's where it comes. It's a big weekend. It's a big weekend, boys, and we're going to be. I don't want to reveal to the viewers yet how we're going to be doing it. We're going to do a preview, but I feel like preview shows have become really boring on social media of late because because of how crammed together the games are. You do a match review for Arsenal today or Thursday, and then you're doing a preview the next day or something, and you're basically repeating the same point. So we're going to do something really special to preview Manchester City versus Arsenal. How are you? But how are you feeling, Igal, ahead of going up against, for me, the best team in England now by far, and maybe the second best team in Europe behind Bayern Munich right now? Do you have any confidence? Do you have any confidence at all that this team can get a result, get a point against Man City?
Bro, I don't know what to say to you. If we couldn't beat Manchester City when they were vulnerable at the beginning of the season, when we were looking good and they were vulnerable, and they had a situation where their team was looking shaky, and we got out of there losing the way we lost, where I don't think we have any chance. I'm the most confident guy in the world on this team, but I'm shitting myself in that game. That game's going to be a bad game for us in the sense that we could see 4 to 5 goals conceded if we do too much rotations. If we take it too serious, it could affect our performance against Benfica in the second leg. So in this situation, it's a lose-lose. If you play all your best players and somebody gets injured, we're screwed against Benfica. If we play a rotated side, it's going to be a situation like the League Cup all over again. So I honestly don't know what to expect, but a tough loss.
Kesh, from your point of view, do you play your best team against City, or do you actually make some changes and save your best players for the Europa League?
I think you got to make some changes. Listen, it's City. They've been going to every team in the Premier League this season and basically just walking all over them. I expect them to do the same to Arsenal because I don't feel we're that strong when it comes to defending, especially against technical good players like the ones that City have. So you do a bit of rotation, obviously not too much because you don't want to get a slap in that then ruins the confidence going into the second leg. So you put a decent team out there and you try and make it hard for them.
Yeah, I agree. Harry, would you do the same? Would you play a weak? I mean, it sounds like a weird thing to say, but play a weaker team against City than Benfica because you have little to no chance of winning anyway.
Yeah, man. And obviously, if we won tonight, then you could probably do the opposite. You could go strong against City and then rest against Benfica a little bit or rotate a little bit. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, whichever way you do it, the outcome's probably going to be a humbling defeat. So you just want to try to keep it tight, play for the draw, do what Benfica did tonight, try and ride your luck and capitalise when you can, take your chances. But I mean, listen, man, City are cutting different shapes at the moment, so it's going to be so hard to stop them. Even with Arteta intel, once those guys are firing, it's like near on impossible to stop them. So I just don't want to get battered, man. I don't want it to be a 3-4-0 job because that would just be horrible. Because then you've got Leicester away after, I think, and then you've got Burnley away. Suddenly it's Arteta out again, and I can't be bothered with dealing with all of that.
Is this a game? Is this a game where we go 3 at the back? Since we have so many centre back options.
Nope. Igal, you're in love with this switching the system and putting 3 at the back and everything. No, why are you going to do that? Just because you want to get a draw? No, you play to your strengths. Your strength is not playing with 3 at the back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I mean, either way, that the outcome's going to be a City win. Yeah, like, so you do it, you play 3 at the back, and then if, I don't know, then you're just surrendering possession a little bit, aren't you? I mean, listen, if we're bold and we're brave, you never know. We might catch them off on the off day. They got the Champions League to prepare for, I think. So, or we all get COVID. All our players get COVID. The game gets suspended until the end of the season. They've already won the league, and they'll play all their kids.
I mean, I'm not going to say anyone's going to wish for that, but you know, stranger things have happened in the last few months. I look at this. I think you do need to rotate. I almost feel like, and that sounds harsh, right? You can't make the Champions League in the league like with a league position this year. You are not making it into the top 4, and I mean that with all due respect. So rest some players to a point where tell Lacazette and Saka and a few others to not even turn up. Give them a day off and just play a team. Actually trigger some of the rivals. You know what, right? Like make them angry that you've thrown a weakened team out, Mick McCarthy style, and then save everybody for this Benfica game. Because for me now, the league should be a second priority compared to the Europa League for Arsenal. That should be now your bread and butter because it could yield you a trophy and a Champions League place. And whether you finish 7th or 14th, barring banter, what's the difference?
Oh yeah, exactly, man. That's just ego, isn't it? It's just ego being damaged. But one second though, man. Europa League, if we get Leicester in the next round, do you back us to beat Leicester over 2 legs?
I think we can.
Yeah, I think we could, but Do you back us to beat Spurs? Do you back us to beat Man United? Like this competition is so hard. Like if anything, I think we've got as much chance of finishing top 6 or 4th as we do winning the Europa League. Honestly, I really do.
See, I hear what you're saying. It depends on the draw, though, because you could find. I don't even know who else is left in this, right? I'm
Ajax, Roma, Villarreal.
Okay, there are a lot of teams.
They're winning.
In terms of teams that have won tonight, right? So you're going to have Rangers. Rangers are likely to go through from this point. Ajax, Shakhtar, Napoli actually lost tonight. Hoffenheim probably still going to be in it. Villarreal, Olympiacos, Spurs, Leicester only drew. We'll see what happens in that game. Dynamo Zagreb, don't worry about them. Roma, AC Milan are in it. They actually drew 2-2 tonight. United, and don't worry about Dynamo. Yeah, I mean, it is going to be tough. The only thing that can help you, and what I was alluding to is sometimes about the draw. You could get through and then get Ganadia, or you could get Mold or somebody in the next round, right? Who've got an opportunity to go through, or maybe you pick up Rangers, which I think you'll beat. And then your hope will then be that a lot of those big teams get each other. So half of them are then knocked out, right? And that's how you might be able to do this. I think if you were to, if you had a predetermined route, if you knew that if you got through this game, you had to play Leicester, and then if you beat Leicester, you had to play Roma, and then if you beat Roma, you had to play Man United, then I'd get your point. But you could get a lucky draw.
Man, we don't get lucky draw. I guarantee you we get a big team. Guarantee you. Wenger's last year, when all the footballing gods should have been on Arsene Wenger's side, we get Atletico Madrid in the semi-final.
Imagine
Chelsea in the final last year.
Harry, 1 second. Imagine if we do what we did against Leeds and we change the team a lot, and then those players go out and do an amazing performance against Man City, and now we're going to say, you know what, we're going to play them again. Because you know what, Terry? At the beginning, you know what happened? No, Terry, you're laughing. We said at the beginning of the season. No, you're laughing. We said at the beginning of the season, play the kids, play Emil Smith Rowe, play Saka, play all these guys, Martinelli. And guess what? They're turning out now to be they're turning out to be our best players. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. You've gone a little bit funny, right? Listen, 110%, you're right. These kids are now your first teamers. If you're playing your weakened team, it's all the man you threw out, bro. William's going to turn up, isn't he? William and Pepe are going to slap up this City team. Come on, stop it.
Stop it. But yeah, as I was saying, listen, like, we're talking about who's going to be left in it. We don't know how the Premier League season goes. Man United might end up catching up back to City again, and then they have to sacrifice what they're doing in Europa League. So, as Terry said, it all comes down to luck of the draw and what's going on in the league position for certain teams. Because Leicester could still be up there. Then it's a decision: what do you put all your eggs in the Europa League, or do you just solidify your place in the top 4?
Yeah, man, I agree. I think we got to spread the eggs, man. We got to spread the eggs because we're in no position to think we're going to progress in the Europa League, and we're in no position to think we're going to get top 4. I think honestly, I know top 4 looks an absolute mile off, but I don't think anyone's guaranteed the top 4 apart from Man City. Honestly, that Leicester, Man United, Liverpool. Who's 4th now? West Ham. Is it West Ham?
Liverpool, no?
Liverpool,
no.
sorry.
Chelsea, mate. Chelsea are 4th.
Yeah, sorry. I think it's going to change loads, honestly, loads.
It will. I'm going to delve into that in a sec. Man like Zayn, brother, I haven't seen you around in a while. Zayn says Saka, now one of the best players in Europe. United relying on Bruno as usual. And Dan James tonight, and Rashford tonight, and Mad made his debut. We're happy, but thank you. Listen, Zayn, Saka was class tonight. I think he's amazing. Rest him against City though, bruv. Don't be using him too much. But I'm going to put the league table up on the screen actually, because
no, don't worry.
No, not to banter anyone. It ain't to banter anybody. It's just to sort of look at it and say, I hear your point. You get City. I'm actually going to try just about and cut City out, right? You got Man United right the way down. My only issue with saying Arsenal making it, I kind of get mathematically what are you? You're 8 points away. The problem is that you need to have better form between now and the end of the season than at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Did you get where I'm coming from? You've got to be better than.
Oh yeah, totally.
So it's just the odds are further against Arsenal than anybody else. So I just can't say. I honestly, I'm going to sound so bitter when I say this. I don't think Arsenal are going to finish above 8th this season. Legitimately, I can't see you finishing above 8th. And
well, so who's your top 8 then? Who's your top 8?
City,
out of those? Yeah,
City, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, I think will be the top 4. I'm not too sure the order, barring Man City. I think that you'll then get. I think Tottenham will be around. I think Aston Villa are going to be top 8. I think Everton will be top 8. I think Tottenham will finish in front of you. I think Villa will finish in front of you. You might scrape in front of West Ham.
Sorry, what I would say is, if it comes down to Arsenal finishing 8th, I'll take 9th because I'm not looking forward to playing no Europa Conference League. It's not happening. Forget it. There's no point. I'm not looking to play that tournament. Forget that.
But you might also find, right? You might also find that that there could be not a subconscious thing, but if I'm sitting there and I'm Mikel Arteta, let's say you're still in the Europa League as well, and you're doing well in the Europa League or whatnot. It's like, well, we'll rest plate people anyway. But if you're sitting around 8th, 9th, there could be that consciousness that not even a subconscious. It could just be, let's play a weekend team. I'd rather, what's losing 1 or 2 more extra games? Like, you've already lost 10 this season, right? what is
but Terry, you have to look at the fixtures that are remaining and how many of those teams are playing each other and how many teams at the bottom of the table we're going to be playing near the back end of our schedule. I feel like we do have a decent run. If we can make a decent run, we could get into the top 6 quite easily.
No!
Now, what I'd say is, you're saying no.
Stop it, Terry. Absolutely stop it. Look at you're
no.
I think what makes,
because when you think about it, we're only a Burnley own goal away from picking up a point from there. I could show you so many points of the season where if things were flipped, we would be not only higher up the table, but we'd be almost tied with Liverpool right now.
Yeah,
it's only 6 points.
Egal, but my uncle. Do you know my uncle?
I know what you're gonna say.
You know my uncle. My uncle. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My uncle gave his bollocks to my auntie. Do you know what I mean? She beat me uncle. It didn't happen, bro. Do you know what I mean?
You know what I would say? The reason why it's so hard to make a gauge of where teams are finishing is because you've got the likes of Aston Villa and certain other teams who still got the game in hand. Once they play that, then you can see where you're at. But until then, you can't call it. I
hear what you're saying. I think what's going to happen as well, and I mean, this is the thing. This is why I think you should put all the eggs in the basket of the Europa League. Okay, Jay, you're the smartest face. The reason I think you should put all the eggs in the Europa League basket is because when you look at some of the other teams in that run-in, you've mentioned the West Hams, the Evertons, the Aston Villas, they don't have Europa League and they're all out of the FA Cup, barring Everton that are still in it, but they're probably going to go out to Man City. So they're going to go to a point where during European weeks, they're going to play 1 game a week. It's going to be so hard with this crammed fixture. I just think it is what it is. And I think Arsenal will win some good games, but everyone's going to drop points, barring City. But that's just the point. You're not going to end up...
You're wrong, Terry.
I'm wrong. Why am I wrong?
Because Arsenal are back and they will get top 6 and they'll easily get top 4 because they're back. Arsenal back.
Stop it.
You know what they're doing? You know what they're doing right now?
I sense sarcasm.
You know what they're doing right now, yeah? What they're doing is this. They're giving Benfica hope. They're giving Benfica hope. And what they're going to do when you go to the Emirates, you're going to snatch that hope away from them and batter them and show the world that
you just flawed your argument, Keith.
Wait. It don't matter where you are because you're back. You don't matter where you are because you're back, fam. You can go play Hackney Mark.
You know what's crazy though? When I gave the teams that you won't finish in front of, I actually missed Leicester out as well. Like Leicester are thereabouts as well. The thing is, to make top 4, which was a gal said we could easily do, or did you say top 6 would be easy?
Top 6, yeah, top 6.
Top 6. So to make top 6, I say you're 6 points behind Liverpool. So as it stands right now, you have got to win 7 more points than Liverpool between now and the end of the season. Can't see it.
No. But the thing is, we're not in a position to choose our basket.
No.
Like, we're not in a position to say put all the eggs in one basket.
Listen.
Out of our last 14 games, Arsenal's going to have to win. Arsenal's going to have to win at least 9 of those games. At least.
And you've won 10 all year.
Can I say something? Can I say something? The biggest issue over the past couple of days when it comes to the connection between the players is you see that there's certain people, it's almost like they've never played together because they haven't. You have Smith Rowe and Aubameyang who barely have played together. You have Odegaard who's just come into the team. The cohesion is not there with some of these guys. If you give them a little bit longer to play with each other, they'll be able to pick out those balls that are currently Aubameyang's asking for the ball to come to his feet, and Odegaard's playing a ball where he's supposed
and
to
that'll
run
be
behind.
15 games
Those
time.
little things.
You're
back.
Why
Yes, he's back again.
No, you get, but honestly though, this is a serious question. This is not me bantering. What potentially two teams?
When someone says that, it means they always get back to banter.
No. I'm being serious. Like, what potentially two teams do you find yourself? Do you think you can beat to the top 6? What two teams?
I'll go first. I think we could beat Leicester to the top 6. Yeah, I think we'll beat Leicester to the top 6. And
hang on, sorry, I can't even let you go any further, Hazard. Leicester.
Yeah, I think Leicester are going to drop off. I think they're going to drop off. It's a theory that I have. I think they're going to.
So you believe Leicester, and what's the other team? Because granted, there are so many teams above you already. What are you 10th? There are 9 teams above you already. What two teams you reckon it is?
Terry, can you get the table up for a sec?
I can. So the Leicester one, right? So you to finish in front of Leicester, as it stands right now, you've got to have a 13-point swing to get in front of them. 13.
I'll tell you how we get to the top 4. God's help. That's all we need. God's help. That's the only thing that's left for us.
Stop.
No, listen, I can't believe in that because I'm an atheist. He ain't. Can you see that league table? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
The only way Leicester drops off is if they lose Maddison and Vardy. That's the only way. They're not dropping off if them two stay fit.
No, listen, I don't think we're going to get top 4. I'm saying top 4 is just as likely as what it is for us to go far in a Europa League, which is both very unlikely. That's what I mean. That's my theory. Like,
but look at that league table. Look at that league table.
I think if there's any team we're going to catch here,
where are we?
They're down there.
If there's any team we're going to catch here to get either 7th or 6th here, it's going to have to be Everton. Everton and West Ham. I think West Ham over the.
You know what I love about this conversation? I love about this conversation, though, boys. It's like, how can Arsenal make 6 or 7?
Oh.
Can I say my take?
Go on.
The gal's angry.
At the beginning of the year, no, because this is more deflating than the game. Everything I say, you guys are completely destroying it. it's actually deflating. No, I'm not. It's my opinion. How can I be wrong? Anyway,
opinions
go ahead.
Igal. If 2 plus 2 is 4, but your opinion is that it's 5, your opinion is wrong. It's your opinion.
The logic don't apply, girl.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Okay. No, keep it moving. Everton, we could realistically catch them. We're a game behind, and they're they're 3 points ahead. 3 points ahead of us right now. Tottenham, a game in hand, 2 points ahead. Game in hand, 2 points ahead of us. That's a realistic person we could catch. West Ham currently that seems like a far distance, but at the same time, you have to look at who they actually have left. You have to see who they actually have left to play.
Yeah, they got Spurs and City
schedule. If you look at who they have Leicester. They have Chelsea. No, let me finish. They have Leicester. They have Chelsea. They have Southampton. They got West. They got Wolves. They have ourselves to play. They have Manchester United to play. So it is feasible. You're making it seem like you're only looking at one side of things.
I'm going to Ramsey in 1 second, Igal, though. But you have, right, of your 14 games, 50% of them are against Man City, Leicester, Tottenham, West Ham, Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea. And then I could throw in 8 or 9 if I'm going to talk about Brighton and Crystal Palace that have given a lot of teams. It ain't like you've got easy games, bruv. It ain't like
we do.
There's no easy games.
We have Brighton, Palace, West Brom, Newcastle. What else? Fulham. That's 5 right there. Sheffield United. That's 6. Okay.
I'll make you a promise.
If we beat Burnley and West Ham,
I'm going to make you a promise. £100 to charity. So it's not a financial bet. So you can do it, right? Your games against Sheffield United, Fulham, Newcastle, West Brom, those 4 games, how many victories do you think you'd get out of those 4? Because I'm saying you're getting no more than 2.
Wait, what teams did he say?
Are you serious?
So Sheffield United, Fulham, Newcastle, West Brom, those 4, they're your easiest 4 games. How many wins are you getting, Gal?
I think we can win
2.
all 4 of those games.
I bet you that you don't win more than
We should win all 4 of those games.
But you should, and
We
you
should
would,
win
bruv.
all
You
4 of those
shouldn't
games.
have pammed at home 3-0 by Villa, bruv.
Yeah, but that was when we
Listen.
was in a very sensitive, vulnerable place. That was a
Terry,
very bad time. for
Terry, I
us.
love you.
Terry,
We moved
Terry,
on
at the
since
back end
then.
of
We're
every
a
season.
different
Wait,
team.
man
since
sounds
then.
like
And we still
a
lost to
guy.
Villa.
You guys, listen, guys, everyone stop for 1 second. We're being disillusioned by the fact that Arsenal have had a bad season and have been cut and dry, one of the worst teams when it comes to being finishing chances. We get chances, we get clear-cut chances. We're our own enemy. When there's no pressure, we always perform better. So if we're facing Burnley, Sheffield United, Southampton, Fulham, Brighton, Crystal Palace at the back end of the season, we always get results. That is what we do. When there's no pressure, we always get results. Even if
So
we
you
don't
win-
get,
Wait, Igal.
we're gonna
Sorry,
win
go on,
those games.
Sorry, yeah, but Igal, are you then also saying that everyone in front of you would drop that many points as well? That you and your
I'm
magic
not focused on
run,
them.
but yet you have to be. They're ahead of you.
Listen. As much as you guys are talking about this, it's absolute garbage. Because if we were to just focus on ourselves and pick up the points against the teams that we should have been beaten, we would be above Liverpool right now. And you guys keep saying your jokes, all this and that. And then you have to focus on your team. If we keep picking up 3 points here and there, you never know where we could be at the end of the season. I'm just saying top 6. You guys are the ones putting top 4 in my mouth.
Ramsey go.
Yeah, all right, Agal. So I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying. But I look at Arsenal this season, yeah? I look at our results before Smith Rowe and after Smith Rowe, yeah? When we lost to Wolves and we lost to Aston Villa. Tonight's performance, as good as it was in parts, it wasn't good enough. And I just feel like those performances are going to come throughout the rest of the season. Now, if we're on, for us to finish in the top 6, we need a Champions League team performance for the rest of the season. We need the form of Man City or Man United or Liverpool. We need that sort of form this season, and we ain't got that. We haven't even shown part. We've shown it in January against teams that we should have beaten: the Palace, Newcastle, West Brom, Brighton. That was our best run of the season.
I think our problem is we can go on a run, but in order to go on a run, you need a sample of games that we had like a month or so ago, when we had Newcastle and all that. But we ain't gonna have that in the next 7 games.
We ain't. But tonight shows it.
You're gonna have
Tonight shows it.
And also, the Arsenal fans, you also need to hope and pray that so many other teams go through such bad form that your run can accelerate you to that position.
Look, KJ, I totally acknowledge it. I've gone through a fixture. It's not like listen,
and that's why I think
we got Man City and Leicester in our next 2 games.
So even if you pick up, say for instance, miraculously you won against City, you then got Leicester. So you can't put that run together. One of those teams are going to stop you, and that's what you need. You need a run of games where you're just winning and winning and winning, and that's how you pick up the table.
That's why this whole notion of if Arsenal just focus on themselves, it'll be fine is nonsense, because you're so far behind. It's not like you're near the top, and if you just put your head down and focus, you will end up there. You know what I'm saying? You're so far behind that you have no option but to look up and be like, these men are in front of us. We actually need to make sure that them men drop points too.
But you know what? I wouldn't complain. Like if Arsenal went and won, say, 9 of the last games, and every other team around us won as well, I wouldn't care, because I'll take the positive out of it. Terry, you're muted, bro.
Terry, you're muted, fam.
Disgraceful. Hello. From my point of view, it's like I agree with Kesh. If you do end up going on a really good run, but you only end up in 9th because everybody else in front of you also accumulated similar points, you take that positive into the next season. I would be very reluctant to, because as I've said, I've been watching Arsenal very closely, well, since before I started doing YouTube, because my best mate, Phil, that's been on, but we lived in the same house, so the house shared for, I don't know, over a decade together. And I watched Arsenal very closely because I watched all the Arsenal games with him and he watched all the United games with me pretty much. And like the back end of every single season, you went on good runs, and it's what filled Arsenal fans with that hope that the next season was going to work out. Liverpool were very similar to that, and it fell away again. I just feel like you should be... I feel like City got it wrong last year. I feel like what Arsenal should now do is use the league as training to be as ready as they can to try and win this Europa League, because I don't think you can finish in a Champions League position. I think you'd struggle to even get into the top 6. So between finishing 7th and 14th, there ain't really that much, barring being bantered. Like I said, there isn't really much difference. So for me, I'd be resting your players if you've got a big game coming up against, I don't know, Liverpool, but you've got a Europa League game on the like 3 days later. I wouldn't play my strongest team against Liverpool. I'd save it, and that isn't because I want to sit here and banter Arsenal for falling away. I remember when Man United, we did it. We probably weren't going to make the top 4 the year we won the Europa League with Jose.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at our last 5 or 6 games in the league, we lost about 3 or 4 of them.
I swear we lost to Arsenal in that run, and we was literally because Jose just said, "Screw it, let's put all the kids out
Let's
there."
go back to, was that the 2017 season? It was the 2017 season, right? Because I probably put that up on the screen now. Yeah, you can see it. So we finished 6th that season, right? But if you look at the last, let me put that on the screen. If you look at the last 5 games, we lost 2, drew 2. So yeah, we drew with Swansea 1-1, beat by Arsenal 2-0, beat by Spurs 2-1. And then we drew with Southampton, and then we beat Crystal Palace on the final day. But when you go back and look at those games and remember, it was like we weren't trying to win them, but we couldn't make the top 4 anyway. Although you look at we're 6, we weren't making it anyway. Like we were.
Look at us, man. Look at those green lights. Look at all those W's there. Look at us go. Woo. See, of course we can do it. Of course
this is almost the point. You finished in front of Manchester United, but we made it into the Champions League and Jose took a very calculated gamble and said, I'm going to play my stronger teams in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the Europa League and not in the Premier League games. And but by the last couple of games, the Tottenham game and the draw, it was like he was saving people. If you go back and look at his lineups,
look at the teams.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. The problem, Terry, the problem I have is that I don't think our squad's good enough to win the Europa League. I don't think we're good enough to do that either. I'm just in hope land that we can do something somewhere.
So Ramsey, what do you do if you don't think the squad's good enough to win the Europa League and you don't think the squad is good enough to get top 6? What do you guys do for the season? Do you just write off and develop the youth? Like what do you do?
Well, listen, before tonight's game, there was a part of me that said we can do this, and I watched the game and I just think, this is the last 32. We're not even in the last 16 yet. And it just feels like such a long way to go with the teams that are in it. Now, don't get me wrong. If we get past Benfica, as Terry said, you might get 1 or 2 draws. All of a sudden, you're in the semi-final. And then you start to believe again. But the semi-final is crunch time now, because that means you're looking at the 4 best teams in the competition probably going to be in it. And obviously, that's our problem before with Atletico and Chelsea, when we lost in those games.
Those games, listen, besides the Chelsea game, the Atletico game, that was our own downfall. We lost that game because of our own downfall.
But we always do it. It's not like it's a one-off.
So it's not that we can't win it. It's not that we can't win it. It's just that, are we going to get through those games without being damaged to our own self?
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, Arteta's shown that he can do it against the big teams in cup competitions, but I don't think we're in a position to rotate too much, because essentially, like I said earlier, we're too vulnerable and sensitive. So if we lose in the Premier League, that defeat will bleed on. Like
100%.
Those moves will carry on into the Europa League.
Unless the message is though, like, it's okay to lose. We're rotating. This is what we're focusing on. Like, you need to get that mentality into because Man United in the back
end, the mentality of that is okay.
You know what's mad as well?
We can't do that.
No, Harry just made a good point.
Man United did it. It was us losing those league games towards the end of the season. We were good in the Europa League. Do you get what I mean? Like,
I totally get the theory.
Harry made a good point. Actually, he said you've seen Arsenal play well in the big games against big teams in the cup, but we've only seen it once. We've never seen Arteta in a 2-legged tie.
Yeah,
and the tactical game that comes around 2-legged knockout football, we've not seen him properly do it. The last time we saw him, he got knocked out by Olympiacos. I'm not going to make that the whole thing that say he can't do it, because that was very early on in his Arsenal career, and Aubameyang should have sent them through. That wasn't his fault. But as it goes on, you'll start to see what Arteta is made of when it comes to 2-legged ties and how he goes about it. If you can't get past the round of 32, that's looking like, if you struggle, or if you struggle to get over this line, it's looking very bleak. for your
Yeah.
chances.
Guys,
And don't forget that away goal rule, man. That away goal
Yeah.
rule is a horrible shadow behind you. So when we play Benfica next week, like if it's 0-0 with 20 minutes to go, we are going to be like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
I
And
mean,
that nervous energy
listen,
creeps in, and the next thing you know, bang.
That's
I'm
why.
nervous already. And
Harry,
it's next week.
Harry,
Yeah, but this
guys,
one
guys,
second.
the biggest
Why-
issue.
I'm gonna go into 1 second. I'm gonna go in a second. That's why I feel so sorry tonight for all the Real Sociedad fans. They got us got 5 away goals, bro. Like it's a madness. Sorry, Gal. Go on, mate. Go on.
You literally.
Okay, Gal.
Honestly, Manchester United, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna call it now, though.
Honestly,
What was you saying
yeah,
though? What was you trying to say?
I think it's
No, because
You're gonna-
you guys literally did what we wanted, what I want my team to do. I want my team to go out there, bury the tie, end it, give us confidence going into the next game. We couldn't do that today. And you know what we do in these games? Yeah, but you
that's
know
why
what we
you have
do
to
in
be
these, you
clinical,
know what we do, Kesh. You know what the problem with us is? The problem with us is when the game matters, when there's something on the line, when it's not a one-off game and we have to go through a two-legged tie. We don't have the leaders to carry us through it. We don't have the men in the team to go into the game saying, "Hey, we're going to take this game by the scruff of the neck from minute 1 to final minute, and we're going to be organized, be connected." We don't have those people, and that's the bigger issue for me. We're never going to win anything unless we get those guys.
1, 2, 3, 4. I need a girl to ride, ride, ride. I need a girl to make my wife. I need a girl who's mine, oh mine. I need a girl in my life. I need a girl to ride, ride, ride. I need a girl to be my wife. Nobody else, she's all mine. I need a girl. Yeah, yeah. Yo, I'm internationally known on the microphone.
Nah, what I would say though is I feel the likes of Saka and all that will turn up next week. Honestly, as I said, like Benfica came with a game plan. They came to play for the scraps and disrupt our game. Arsenal, the way we like with the likes of Saka, he wanted to use his pace and run at people. He couldn't move the ball the way he wanted to move it because the pitch was soggy. Like there was a lot of water on that pitch. When he goes to Athens now, the pitch ain't gonna be like that. And I do feel we will punish them. I do feel.
They're like today, from what I saw from today, it was a very open-ended game, back and forth, end to end. Benfica in the second leg ain't doing that again. They're gonna make it difficult. They're gonna make it hard, and they will look to nick that one goal. And you guys have been susceptible over years, like Man United, like us, susceptible to that sucker punch, that one moment, that one set piece, that one mistake.
We need to score. We need to score first. Because if
we score first,
if we concede first, we're going to be. It's that trying, and just, it's going to be.
Open up. You can leave space behind.
First twice. Like, 1 goal, 2 goal, and it almost it is. But do you know what? Though that's away goals are horrible when it's your team that suffers at them. When you're watching from like a rival perspective, or you don't care. They make it amazing because the psychological impact they have upon a game is so important. It's why your equalizer tonight was massive. When you don't, it's even worse when you don't get the away goal in the first leg because
when you draw 0-0 away from home,
that's the worst.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah. You'd rather be 1-0 down. I think you'd rather go in that second leg 1-0 down because you got this nervous.
And if you look at today's game, right? Today we didn't concede the goal because we were, they play better than us, but those things can happen. Like it'll be typical of us to concede another penalty next week or to get a red card next week.
Totally.
These things happen. It's been happening to us all season. So
Ramsey's a broken man. Ramsey's a broken man, bro.
You know what's funny about that? Yeah. The minute Bellerin crossed that, I knew Aubameyang missed. I knew it. I just knew it. It was just so obvious. The minute Smith Rowe gave that corner away, I thought he was going to score from it. I thought he was going to score ahead or something. I thought Tongan's going to pop up and it's going to be Tottenham Arsenal.
Yeah. But even the way we conceded the corner was bad, right? We overplayed it and then we conceded the corner. So that's what I mean. That's the nervous energy because we know there's so much resting on this competition.
This is another thing as well. I don't know if you lot noticed it. The way they played, they left Aubameyang and Otamendi for every long ball. Aubameyang needed to be stronger.
Mm.
He needed to take that ball down and try and spin his man and run at him.
You know what's
He wasn't
what's
weak
mad
in that
though. You know
situation.
what's mad. I'm listening to you guys speak, and you sound like United fans. In terms of the stress that comes with our team and the PTSD that comes with our team. The reason why United fans, not just because we won, but in terms of us being in Europa League, so this season, we're not as stressed and we don't mind if we go through or not. It's because we're in a position in the league where it's like this could benefit us in the long run anyway if we're not in it. So it's calm. But with you guys, you've got that extra tension. It's kind of like, if we don't have this, what do we have? You know what I mean?
It's all or nothing. And you know,
Can I
if you go out in your next round, and I know, Gal, you don't want to hear this, and I know we always have a laugh with you. And stuff.
How was Saka's goal offside? What are you talking about?
Who says Saka's goals
Oh
offside?
no, they don't listen to the comments of this trolling.
Okay. My view is this for Arsenal as well. The reason there's even more stress on this is because if you go out next week, it's February, and your season is finished.
Mm.
You're playing for every game is essentially a dead rubber. And I know that Egal has. Listen, Egal. I always say, bruv, like if you're the most positive person when it comes to your football team that I've ever met in my life, and there's a large parts of me that respects that. But if you go out against Benfica, that's it. You've got 3 months of football to endure, where every game you play means nothing.
That's better though.
No. Let me respond. No. Let me respond. Terry, you take that and you push yourself to get all the players who are not going to play next season. You don't play them. You literally only play people who are going to progress you guys in the future. You play the youth. Right. You play people like Kesh said. And also, if you guys are really saying, "Oh, the season is done. There's nothing to play for, and top 4 is not happening, top 6 not happening. We're not winning Europa League. So why are we here? Pack it up. Let's go. Let's go. Everyone go to Hawaii. Go do something. Everyone go pack it up.
Mentally, a lot of them will. And of course, there'll be elements where certain players can work on development. Of course, Arteta will experiment. Of course, there'll be elements like that goes on. So when I say nothing, I'm talking about the levels that Arsenal need to be aiming for. You are literally, and that's going to sound harsh, you're going to become like the rest of the mid-table teams that outside of the opening, once they hit 40 points, they relax. And then the season's over with because there's nothing else to play for in terms of trophies. Now, when you're the size of, say, Crystal Palace, and I'm saying this with respect, that's fine because their general thought at the start of the season, and I'm going to name some teams. West Brom, that's from a few years ago. I was about to say West Brom ain't 10th. That's the old league table. Right? When I look at this team now, when I think of even to an extent, Southampton, Crystal Palace are 14th, Burnley that are moving up recently, Brighton, Newcastle. I know Kendall's watching. How are you? These teams, Villa this year have exceeded expectations. Their expectation at the beginning of the season and their want is stay in the Premier League. Once that's secured, of course they try hard in their games and it's professionalism, but they've achieved they've achieved their goal and they can go out there and enjoy it. It's the opposite way for Arsenal. You go out all the tournaments, all these dead rubber games, there's no joy for an Arsenal player being 10th in the league and having nothing to play for 14 games. Different.
What was my expectations at the beginning of the season? I said either get top 4 or even if you finish 10th, I'm happy if we win the Europa League. And you guys said, you know what? That's not an improvement. Okay. Now look at
hang on, but that's and that's what your expectations are. So if you go out of the Europa League, you ain't making top 4. That's your season over based on your expectations. You're finished.
I think it's important for Arsenal to realize what their expectations of Arteta was, because obviously Arteta had last year to kind of get through as a dead rubber season after where he picked us up from. But this is his year, really and true. This is Arteta's first year, and for us to finish mid-table, no trophy, out of Europe completely, and the talk of the start of the season from him, especially when we signed Willian, it was getting Champions League next year and look to kick on from there. Now we've gone backwards from where we even were with Emery in terms of our position in the league. Then you think to yourself, as a board, do you think, all right, we give him one more season to go again, or do we have to start considering that he's failed his own objectives for the season, and massively? Because he said himself, top 4 is the aim for the season. So if you finish 10th with nothing else, then your aim has been.
Yeah, imagine this.
Tarnished.
Imagine this year.
is depressing.
Imagine this year. Imagine this. Arsenal Football Club 2021. What's the date today? What, the 18th of February. So your biggest game of the season comes on the 25th of February. Your biggest game.
Spurs. Is that Spurs at home?
No,
No,
that's Benfica. That's next week.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
Benfica.
I've lost track of days, man.
Your
It's all a blur.
biggest game of the season has already come, and your
Yeah.
Arsenal Football Club. That's mad.
Yeah,
No,
and it's
But KJ,
what though?
KJ,
Can I ask you,
KJ,
Eunice- can I ask you, Eunice- Go on, Gal. Go on, Gal.
no, KJ. But if our fans are doing the team talk, the players might as well pack up and go to Hawaii because
Your fans
everyone's
are doing the
defeated.
talk. No, but no
What
one's
I'm saying
defeated.
is, what I'm saying is,
Gal. No one's saying you're defeated now. If you go out to Benfica, Arsenal Football Club, with the standards that you have and even the expectations on Arteta this season, would not have been to be out of all the cup competitions early and to be 10th in February. There's no way Arsenal Football Club set him those expectations. If they're higher than that,
they did. They told us at the beginning of the season, Terry. They said it at the beginning of the season. Kesh, you can back me on this. Did they not say even if Arteta is in 10th, they will still back him in the summer? When someone leaks that to the newspapers and the articles and the people at the beginning of the season, that means they're prepared for us to regress.
Listen, no, there's a different. Again, I love how you take PR, bruv. That for me says if he doesn't meet our expectations this season and we go backwards, but we can see, we can see that it's for longer term game. We'll back Arteta still, but there's no way they would have said, "Look, we're happy with no trophies and 10th."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we were playing the same football we played before December for the rest of the season, we finished 10th. I don't think they'd continue with Arteta. If the football
you're
that
right.
played well, the football that we're playing from now to the end of the season is looks more like we had in January, then I think they can see a progress and something to go forward. But
No,
I don't think it's just no matter what.
Personally, I think if Arteta does not finish at least 8th again, he has to get sacked.
No way.
No, he won't.
He has to.
won't.
He
He's
has
not
to.
getting sacked. He's not
No,
getting sacked. He's the guy.
But how can you go from being it? I personally think you're back, and you guys will be fine. How can you go from being 8th FA Cup winners, Community Shield winners, to no trophies and 10th? How is that acceptable?
One second,
it's
because
not
what?
acceptable.
Let me say something. Because what a lot of fans do is they discredit Arteta's achievements by disregarding the FA Cup and the Community Shield, and now we're using that to say, oh, we went from this to that. The only way Arteta gets sacked this year is if we finish below 10th, playing terrible football.
Yeah, if you're losing. I think that's the only way he gets sacked. But again, Gal, you're kind of misinterpreting me, and maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not articulating myself clearly enough, or being easy to understand. The point I'm saying about playing for nothing is based on the expectations of Arsenal Football Club, and of course, there's a wider expectation of we know that Arsenal knew that you weren't going to go from where you were last year to winning the titles again as the Invincibles, winning doubles. Right? No one expects the jump to happen in 1 year. There has to be progression. Now, Arsenal may be happy with the football getting better and still a mid-table finish because they can say, we've seen those improvements. We know a big overhaul of the squad is needed as an example, right? So if you get the better football towards the end of the season, I think they'll stick with him for another year. But as you move into next season, it's going to be, you've now got to start climbing up the table. When you think about all the teams that are in front of you, Igal, right now in the league, I'm going to be blunt with you. Man City, yes. Man United, yes. Leicester, yes. Leicester is about 50-50 in my opinion. Chelsea, yes. And Liverpool. You have a better squad than the rest of them. In my overall squad than the rest, in my opinion,
Spurs?
right?
Is that another 50-50 Spurs?
Yeah, I think 50. They've got, I think it's about 50-50, but still, you should be in front of a lot of these teams. You're going to buy more players again in the summer, as an example. You've got to move forward. But like I've said, Arsenal Football Club, for how much money you spend on salaries and on players, for the heritage and the history of your club, and for how fans think about it, there won't be a single one of you. And if you sit there at Gal and say, just because the football looks a little bit nicer than the start of the season, you're satisfied with going out in the Europa League in this round and coming 10th, just because Smith Rowe looks good, I can't understand that logic. For me, I would be fuming. I'd almost not feel excited about next season. For me, that's how I would feel as a fan, because do you know how much work you've got to do to keep growing and getting better? I just feel like I'm a million miles away from getting anywhere near. I'd feel, if I'm an Arsenal fan right now, I would feel a million miles away from even getting back to those days where celebrating coming fourth looked embarrassing. Like you're 2 or 3 years away from that. And again, I'm not throwing salt here, Gal. I'm not even being nasty, bro. Like, my club's in the mud. I can't believe you guys have fallen even lower than us, considering, like, for the first 3 or 4 years under Fergie, you guys were light years in front of us. Since Wenger's gone, the cold, lot hard facts are, since Wenger left, you've got worse.
But Terry, that's to be expected, though. That's to be expected.
Terry,
Yeah, true. No,
if you look at the signings, if you look at the signings you make and you see a Bruno, you know Bruno's a winner. Arsenal need to follow the same path. You need to buy players. You have to assess what they are, what they want to do in their career, what they want to achieve, and you sign those players. Because when you sign winners, they automatically want to win and they elevate others around them. We don't do that. We just buy players for the sakes of it.
Yeah, you should all Arsenal fans should have expected this because of Arsene Wenger leaving at such a time and how long he was there. And you look at Man United at the time as well. We had a fall from grace when Fergie left. The issue is you can stomach a 7th or a 6th or a 5th. You can stomach that because of the transition, the rebuild, the fact that a dynasty is coming to an end. You can stomach it. 10th is not stomachable. You can't stomach that.
Of course not.
And equally, it then puts the pressure on Arteta. So if he does come 10th this year and doesn't win a trophy, 2 things. Next season, the expectations for improvement are going to be massive because he can't then have a second season at that level unless that's where Arsenal are willing to be in the league, right? And then if there's an acceptance of you finishing 10th, 9th, 8th, that's when you come around as fans and say, you guys have got to start lowering your expectations, because Kendall doesn't come into the season expecting the league. Equally, on Kesh's point, you're absolutely right. That's what Arsenal need to do. They need to find their Bruno Fernandez's. But when you sign that level of player and pay them what you have to pay them, the expectations increase again on Arteta. So if this summer you sign 3 more Thomas Partey's in different positions, but of that ilk, you buy another striker, you buy a defender and another midfielder that are all on that level, there is no excuse for him anymore. Because
I've said that.
You have. I'm just saying in general, like it has to, and that's where I would expect someone like Igal to take his head out of Rainbow Land and start speaking facts around. You now need to demand more. I think you're too easily.
I wash my hands of this season. I wash my hands of this season for Arteta. When things did not go our way mid-season, I said to myself, I'm giving him this whole season is a clean slate. Whatever happens, I just want to get out of the summer. If we don't make the proper changes going into next season, that's when I'll look at changing the manager. Right now, I'm giving him until the adequate time that I've said I'm going to give him. I said I'm going to give him until the end of this season and beginning of next season after I see the business that he can do in the summer. If the business that I see in the summer is not pushing us forward and he hasn't made any improvements in the squad, then I'll start talking about Arteta and looking at
it. Wasn't Thomas Partey supposed to be one of those improvements?
Yes, but he hasn't.
Yeah, but he's hardly
been
played,
fit.
man. He's been injured.
Why though?
Because we rushed him in because we were desperate to play him because we were so shit. And then he didn't have a good preseason.
Because Partey is confusing me. Partey has been confusing me.
Why is he confusing you? Thomas
not because I don't think he's good. He's a quality player. But when he's come in, this whole galvanization, like Kesh said, someone who's part of a winning team or wants to win and has the fight to be in this team for Arsenal, it doesn't. When I watch him, I just don't see that.
No, but he's not Bruno. Not everyone's gonna be Bruno.
No, I'm not saying it because he needs to go score goals and make assists, but in the way that he's conducting the team, the way that he's utilizing the way that he is in the midfield. I just see another player. I don't see a standout.
No. Thomas Partey Thomas Partey is our best player, and he's hardly played. He's ridiculous.
I hear you on that, guys. Wait, guys, I just want to speak. Let Ram and Prime have a little say before we end the stream. Sorry, go on, Prime, brother. You cold, man?
No. What is wrong with my voice? Sorry, no, I'm not cold. I just why is this season such a write-off, Igal? Yeah, because you said no. Because you said midway through, you just said the season's automatically a write-off. Why is it?
Use your brain, bro. Where are we in the league?
Use my brain. Then why is it if you knew about the
difference
Arteta
between me
if
saying
you-
it's a write-off? One second. The difference between me saying it's a write-off, I'm still trying to say squeeze whatever you can squeeze out of our league position. Try to at least improve that. If you're not going to get the Europa League, you're not going to get top 4, you're not even going to get top 6, at least try to push and win every game you can win. Make something out of nothing.
The reason why it's kind of a bit weird is because if you knew this sort of stuff would be happening with a young, inexperienced manager, why all the gas at the beginning of the season? That's for one. And two, if you guys finished 10th, you wouldn't sack him.
I wouldn't sack him now.
Listen,
No, I wouldn't.
Okay,
but
but why?
we wouldn't.
I don't think the board
Why?
will sack him.
The reason why I wouldn't sack him is I don't feel you gave him a squad to perform. Like, yes, he ain't finished 8th, but this squad best should be finishing 8th.
But what? Okay,
Eighth
but
or
what does that
7th.
mean? He didn't give him a squad to perform. Not every manager gets the signing that they want.
Bruv, I'm no one saying that every manager gets the squad that you want, but where's fans saying that expectation is to be in top 4? Then you've got to replicate that by being ambitious to finish top 4.
But why are the expectations changing when things look bad and bleak?
My expectation has not changed.
Because a few weeks ago, there were some Arsenal fans that were actually getting gas and thinking they can go back and push into the top 4. So why? No. But I'm just wondering why all of a sudden change, because
I can only speak for myself.
If you got because you guys could, because I think you guys will still finish 7th, but you could finish in the top 6. Not even a joke. You could.
Yes,
Fine, the thing is,
but mathematical possibilities and actual probability of something happening are two different
The
things.
reason why we finish top 4, Prime, is we're not consistent. We are not consistent.
not top 4. I'm talking
Or
about
top
top 6.
Or top 6.
Because if you guys get,
you still need consistency.
Whatever happens, whatever happens in the second leg, if you get knocked out against Benfica, that will give you an advantage over some of the other teams. No,
well, probably it will.
No one else is in. None of them are in Europe. None of them are in Europe.
Yes,
Everton, Aston Villa.
but do you not have a stronger squads than the other teams fighting for top 6?
But we're not playing that consistently.
So before you go to Ram, I just want to ask the Arsenal fans a question, because they said if Arteta finishes 10th, they wouldn't sack him due to the fact they don't feel like they gave him a squad that he can work with. How long is that an acceptable excuse for him?
I honestly think that Arsenal on the board wanted Arteta as a long-term plan, and I think part of that plan was to get rid of the squad that he didn't want. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't do that in the summer, probably due to COVID and getting players out that he wanted to. But in January, he got rid of a lot of the players that he did. So now he's got, for me as Arsenal, if I was Arsenal board, they'll say to him, right, you've now got rid of those players. You've now got one more year, because of how bad last year was, to get the rest of the players that you want in, and it's now or never. Now, maybe that's too much. Maybe that's too much, and maybe for a team like Chelsea, who have the funds to just say, right, bam, out, new one in, come in. Where I feel like Arsenal are just going on this on a long-term plan and seeing what happens with it.
Yeah, when you say you go out and get the players you want, I feel that's unfair on him in the sense of that's not, he can only ask. You're going to ask for certain players.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And if the board fail, the board fail. But that's what I mean. Like, if you guys are saying it's down to the board to provide him a platform to show us that it's good enough, if they continue not to do that, how long can you persist with a guy who's not good enough?
Listen, I'm on the board's neck anyway, so either way, like,
yeah, I know, but how long can you persist with a guy, even if he's not getting what he wants? How long can you persist with him?
For as long as it takes, man. Because what are the other options? What's the other options?
The other options are
what are the other options?
Like if he's under, it doesn't matter whether or not you can say your board aren't investing or buying the correct players or whatever. Fine, but if he's still underperforming, you can't have an excuse. You can't have the excuse of he's not getting the players that he wanted, or he's still dead wood is still there. Because next season, you guys should be on his
Next season,
Not just the board, but on his
let-
neck for him to be
Kesh had the
be
final
gone
say on this
if he's
point.
not.
next season, yeah, he's gonna get 1 or 2 players. Obviously, that's not enough for me, but he's gonna get 1 or 2 players. He's got rid of the deadwood, and these are the players that a lot of the players in the squad now is what he's working with. He's then going to be expected to finish in Europa League. He is.
That's it.
That's it.
There's a comment here that says from Monster that says, Terry, based on Igal's reasoning yesterday, Aubameyang must be overrated.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Harvey here, it says, remember when Arteta said at the start of the
3
season?
years, actually. 3 years, he said.
It's 3 years. But that's also part of it as well. Man promised Willian a Champions League in 3 years.
Sometimes you got to lie, Terry. You got to lie to get something in, innit?
Listen, I'm a top-rate salesman. I never miss sell. Ram, what do you want to say? Have you got the last sort of point or question or whatever you want to do?
I was just going to talk about the game, and I think that performance from Arsenal was pathetic. I think it was absolutely pathetic. I said it in a Gal's preview that they should have beaten Benfica, and they didn't. They were there to be get at, and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. That's my opinion.
I came on here to feel good, man. I feel worse.
Sorry, man.
One second, guys. One second.
Of Benfica is there to be seen, and I saw it today. The same deficiencies, and you guys.
You know what I love? Sorry, Ram. You know what I really love about Igal? Igal came on here with probably the most negative I've seen him in terms of reviewing Arsenal's game. But as soon as a rival, a fan of another club says they were bad, Igal's like, "What? What?" Go on, Igal. Go on, Igal. Have the final say, bro. Have the final say, bro.
Terry, you said I'm accepting this. I'm accepting the position that we're in. That accept is not the word. I'm not tolerating this situation. I'm not accepting anything. I'm angry that we're in this situation. But at this point, I have to try to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I have to see where we're going to finish, how this is going to progress, how this is going to get better as a fan. And that's all I'm trying to look at. I'm trying to look at how this is going to improve.
I get that. What's that got to do with what Ram just said?
Let me answer.
No, that has to do with what you said earlier. That's what you said earlier. That's why I was.
We moved on. That's why I was confused. Ram said you did
absolutely. I'm petty like that.
Oh, no, Igal, the light that you're looking at, at the end of the tunnel is a star, fam. That's how far away it is, fam. You know what I'm saying? That's how far the light is.
Listen, it's not that deep. We just need to go and do the job and finish the second leg. You got Leicester who's in front of us. He fucking drew against any team, bruv. We played Benfica, who's they're not the greatest of Benfica back in the day, but they're not a bad team.
Rams, I disagree with that. I think that Arsenal played well.
Did they?
I honestly do think it was a good performance from them.
No, it wasn't. This team could have been get at, and they were absolutely.
Oh, no! I know Benfica can be got at. My point is, I think Arsenal played well to their standard.
Wasn't clinical. Wasn't clinical.
That's different.
I thought Arsenal, on a real level,
I thought Arsenal were back. I thought Arsenal were back.
I thought Arsenal did good tonight, and I praised them. I actually got shot down more by Arsenal fans than anyone else. Listen, it's been a great show, great chat. Igal, man, I actually had never seen Igal this aggy. I've seen Arsenal get pammed, and Igal's been put tonight. He seems like he's ready for a fight.
Yes, Igal.
Nah, Terry. You know what we should say to end the season? I mean, end the stream. Terry said the season's over, guys. So bye. Season's over.
What's wrong? Hold on.
If you're also accepting the fact that your season's over, that means you have to play like City and Leicester.
This guy was really not watching the stream.
No, I was, but you didn't let me finish.
Past Prime. I'm going to end the stream now. Sorry, mate. Igal, I didn't say your season's over now. I said if you go out of the Europa League now, then your season is over. Do you disagree with that?
No, you basically implied the season's over. There's no point. You're not going to win the champion. You're not going to get You're not going to get 7. You're mathematically, as you said, what was it? 16 points. You need a 7-point swing to even get top 6. You need a 13-point swing to even get top 4. Why even try? Why watch the games? You might as well just enjoy them from distance.
That's because we get knocked out of the Euro.
You said that.
What? That is not what man said, bro. I literally said if you go out of the Europa League, I didn't say now. And I think it's an absolute pipe dream to think about top 6 with your current position.
And let me dream.
Listen,
That's what I'm saying.
Gal, I'm trying to help you, brother. I'm trying to help you, man. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you,
That's
my
super
friend.
chat,
Help
man.
you with your misery.
You're taking
bro.
away,
Listen,
you're
everybody-
taking away the fun from the game.
No, I didn't take away the fun. That was Arteta and Arsenal, bruv. Look at your ball. I didn't do that. I'm just telling you facts, brother. Listen, everyone who's tuned into the stream tonight, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll